Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday, the 16th day of August 2023. I hope you're all safe and healthy today, and I hope your family is safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, who along with the first responders are every day trying to save lives. And those also that pick up garbage for us to keep our streets and places clean and disease-free, along with those that make deliveries of mail and food and water and important things for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are unfortunate victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People who are also delivering and helping recover people who are the victims of pornography and child pornography, the victims of prostitution and child prostitution, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators of these nasty, disgusting things. Double curses on those who profit from it, and double curses on the perverts who create the industries of these disgusting things. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men, women, and mostly children homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Today, I was watching yesterday, I looked at a couple of videos of Canada against Germany. They played twice. The first game, Canada was not together. The second game, they were, but Germany really, proved to be a tough opponent. Franz Wagner is the real deal. Him and Paulo Banchero are going to make quite a combination over the years if they can keep them together in Orlando. They're going to be very good. But so Franz Wagner was good. Tice, who plays in the NBA, who has played with the Celtics and a couple other teams, he was looking like he was Larry Bird in the game, which also tells me the weakness of the international game. Although, you have your Nikola Jokic's, your Victor Wembanyama's, you have many players, Franz Wagner, that are foreign and overseas and outside the United States players, whereas the game of basketball made its real name in the United States with players and people from the United States. Overall, by and large, the players are not U.S. players. They're not like the NBA. Again, this is the league, and so it's the highest form of basketball on planet Earth. So the players are stronger, bigger, faster than every other players in the world. So a player might be able to make it in Europe, but not able to crack the NBA. It does happen. Of course, as I mentioned, there are, of course, great players from Europe that come to the NBA like a Nikola Jokic and become all-time great players. But it's not the norm. It's becoming more and more as the game progresses. But at this point in this year, you can still see the difference in the speed of the game of the NBA and the FIBA game. So I take that into consideration when I'm about to talk about RJ Barrett or even Jalen Brunson. The game's a little slower. And a guy like Tice or any NBA pro, your Kelly Olynyk, they could get their shot off a lot easier and much more comfortable in a FIBA tournament than they could in the NBA. Okay, not saying they can't play in the NBA, because obviously both of those guys do, but it's a difference. Okay, so you got to take that with a grain of salt when you see how they play in FIBA. But what we're looking for in terms of RJ Barrett is this is a big year for the Knicks, and it's a very big year for RJ Barrett. Not in a sense of a contract, because he got his contract. This is the first year of his $100 million deal that he signed. So he's got his money. But this is a big year in terms of year 4 of the rebuild for the Knicks, of which Barrett is emblematic. It's a big year in terms of year 4 under Tom Thibodeau and Leon Rose. This is the year, as I was speaking to y'all several times, that now they've built up this team to the point where, and really, again, it's a function of the marriage between the front office and the coach. It's several aspects to it, but that's a big one. And there's got to be a coming together of the front office and the coach in terms of being on the same page. Everybody wants to be on the same page from day one, but it's just like I said, it's like a marriage. The two people love each other. Do they say I do? It takes work to really make it a marriage. Okay, anybody that's been married to tell you that. And it's the same with the connection between the head coach of an NBA team and the management of an NBA team. So now that we've had 3 years of this marriage, we're seeing a development in it. I am. And there's been some rough patches. There've been some mistakes. But overall, what we have right now in year 4 is a team that has been pretty much signed by Leon Rose and crew, drafted by Walt Perrin and crew, and a coach that has his type of player. So you got a marriage of the two sides. So you have Tom Thibodeau with the 10-man rotation, 9-man rotation with Deuce McBride also, and then Jericho Sims, where you have Tom Thibodeau's fingerprints all over it, and all of these guys being signed, being developed, being drafted by Leon Rose, Walt Perrin, and the crew. Okay, Brock Aller and all of them. So this year is a big year, and part of that big year is R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett is their starting small forward. Okay, for better or for worse, everybody has detractors, especially in New York Knicks Nation. Every player of the starting 5 has detractors. Every single one. Okay? But with regard to RJ, the fact is he has been the starting small forward his whole career in New York. He's been the starting small forward. This is his 5th season, I believe, going to be 23. He's 23 years old. And so his 5th season. No, this is his 5th season. He's 23 years old. And this is going to be his 5th season starting. Let me just double check. I can't believe RJ is already in his 5th season, but yeah, I believe he is in his 5th season. I just want to double check that because it seems like he's so young, but he's been around for a minute. Well, let's look at this for RJ Barrett. And yep, RJ Barrett. He was drafted in 2000. He's 23 years old. This is 2003. So he was 20. He was 19 going on 20 when he came into the NBA. And so he's 23. This is his 2000, 2001, 2002. This is his 4th season. So RJ is been starting for the New York Knicks his whole career. He's been a starter in all 4 of his seasons. This is his 5th season, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and now 2023. This is his 5th season. He has been a starter. He has been very consistent in terms of availability. He played 56 games his first year. Remember, that was the COVID-shortened year. And then he had 72 games, which was a shortened year as well. Then last year, 70, then 73. He's been very consistent in being available, which is huge for Tom Thibodeau. But, of course, he has a lot of growth to do. And so we know he's a very inconsistent shooter, very inconsistent from both the foul line and the three-point line, very inconsistent finisher at the rim, slow-footed on defense, especially with those he's trying to guard that are smaller and quicker than he is. So he has a harder time. At this stage, we kind of know what he is. So we're looking for him to take a big leap because we have Jalen Brunson solidified at the point guard. We have Quentin Grimes solidified at the 2. And Quentin Grimes is a tremendous defender that has all-star potential in my view. Jalen Brunson's about to take the leap to superstar status in my view. And so if you can get somebody on the wing that can really support those 2 guys, especially defensively, then this can go far this year. And that's RJ Barrett. So now, what have we seen from RJ Barrett in the Canadian team for FIBA? Well, first of all, it's only been 2 games, so we got to see more this year. But what am I looking for? I'm looking for development on the defensive end. I'm looking for finishing ability. Now, he has shown a consistent jump shot in the 2 games. But then again, like I said, it's a slower game. But it's encouraging to see the consistent jump shot. He has shown finishing ability, particularly the last game that they won in overtime. It was RJ that took over down the stretch of that game and really did the job. Now, what was most encouraging for me defensively is he was trying to guard, and he's been trying to guard Dennis Schroeder. Very difficult assignment. For some reason, they had RJ guarding Dennis Schroeder, and they had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trying to guard Tice. And Tice has been abusing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on a low block. But he hasn't been abusing RJ. I noticed that whenever RJ gets switched on a bigger guy, he more than holds his own. He's very physical. A lot like Jimmy Butler, as I've been saying since his whole career started. So one thing that I've noticed about RJ, he is bigger. Now, everybody has now recognized he's grown a little bit. He's full 6'7". He was 6'6", pretty much coming out of Duke, but he's full 6'7" now. Some might say 6'8", but I see at least a full 6'7", but more than that. His body has grown in terms of muscularity. He can play more physical now. So all the people, I really laugh at all the people trying to, keep bringing up the Knicks shortcoming at power forward. They don't have a shortcoming at power forward. RJ Barrett is the second guy. He is the backup power forward. And he will do very well at it. It's just looking at, that's what I'm getting from FIBA. Very physical, can handle players bigger than him because he's strength. Can defend very well, play bigger than him. But I did notice that Germany did not try to guard RJ with a big guy. Tice, whoever other their big guys was, did not get on RJ because RJ would kill him. So they put Franz Wagner on RJ. They put a smaller, quicker guy on RJ on the defensive end. And RJ was still having his way. So I'm very encouraged by his growth and physicality. And, of course, his finishing. Because he did put on Broadway. He did Broadway Barrett at the end of the second German game. So I don't know, though, how that's going to play in New York. He's trying to guard Dennis Schroeder, and Schroeder is giving him a hard time because Schroeder's too quick for him. Okay, and Dennis Schroeder is an NBA player. Put it that way. He's not a superstar NBA player, but he's an NBA level player. There's no doubt, and he's probably above average NBA point guard. And he's been giving RJ fits. RJ's trying to hang with him. I don't know if that's RJ trying to determine himself to play against smaller guys, or is that a coaching decision, a strategic decision? I don't know. But he's been giving RJ a hard time. RJ has trouble staying in front of him. He gets open shots. But again, I'm hoping that when the season starts for the Knicks, RJ is guarding small forwards, and not 2-on-1s. And of course, teams are going to try to switch to get him in that scenario. So maybe that's one of the strategies here. They're going to switch to try to get him switched off on the 1 and 2s because he just can't stay in front of them very well. They're too quick for him. He's a big guy. RJ's becoming now a big man. He looks to me to be somewhere around 220 right now. I mean, generally he's played around 210. He's came into the league around 212, 210, and he's gotten a little bigger. He looks a solid, y'all tell me, but he looks like he's about 220 right now. And so I have been saying I see Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler followed the similar path. They got very similar body shapes. Jimmy Butler is now 6'7", 230 pounds of fury, and he didn't come into the league like that. He came into the league closer to 210 like RJ did, but he's building up. But I can see RJ looking about 220 right now. So RJ is not the guy to guard 2s and 1s. He can guard 3s and he can definitely guard 4s. So I'm thinking this year, based on what I'm seeing, based on what I saw at the end of last year and what I'm seeing now in the FIBA tournament, RJ is your backup 4. And in the second unit, whenever Julius Randle takes his 10 minutes or 12 minutes a game that he gets for his rest, and you put RJ at that spot, that unit will thrive. Even though they're technically small ball, I don't see a 4, especially a second unit 4 that can guard RJ Barrett. And he can guard all of them. Okay, so that's going to be very good. Then of course, you get a chance to me in the second unit to have Grimes with Emmanuel quickly, which we've been saying is a dangerous combination. Those two have statistically proven. We're not even talking about theory. They've already proven they can dominate when they're on the floor together. Okay, so and that is due to both of their growth, but especially Quickly's defensive growth, which has been tremendous in his 3 or 4 years in the league. Right. So with regard to RJ, though, the jump shot, I still don't know what we're going to get. Again, it looked very good against Germany, but then again, FIBA is not the league. So there were a lot of guys that looked like Larry Bird out there or Stephen Curry shooting that jump shot in FIBA, but that ain't the league. So we got to see how this is going to turn out. That's why I said I am looking for improvement on the defensive end and finishing. RJ's been finishing very well, finishing through contact, going strong. There's still detractors that keep talking about he could only go left. Let me just say this for the 1,000th time. When somebody stops him from going left, we can talk about him going right. This is the league. You get paid to score and play, okay? So if somebody can stop RJ, if you see RJ getting stopped going left, then you could talk about, well, he only has a left hand. That's the thing. Everybody in the NBA, all 30 teams know he's going left and can't stop him. So why would he need to go right? Even though he does go right, he goes right when he has to because he favors his left hand. So he goes right when he has to. Just like right-handed players favor their right hand. But I've been watching him in FIBA. Everybody, again, knows he's going left. Can't do nothing about it. To me, that's a sign of a dude that has the making of being that guy. In other words, you know what he's getting ready to do, and you still can't stop him. And when somebody, I've noticed when somebody overplays him to the left and doesn't get a double team help, he's going to kill you on the right side. He's going to go to the right hand and kill you. Okay? So generally to stop RJ, you try to force him right, but you come with a double team and get the ball out of his hand. That's what they're doing. Okay, and that's what they're going to do, which is why we need RJ to continue doing what he's doing. But when you add a Quentin Grimes along with a Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle in terms of threat on the floor, that opens up stuff for RJ because you can't double team the way you want to, and he will kill you. So that's why we need him to finish strong, and that's encouraging. He has been finishing strong. I'm still concerned defensively. Like I said, he could guard 3s and 4s, but they're going to be switching him. He's going to end up guarding 2s. He's going to end up guarding 1s. Guys that are bigger, like your Paul Georges or your Kawhi Leonards, very high-level superstar type players, but they're bigger at 2 and 3s. I think he'll do better with them than he does against a smaller guy that's quicker, like a Franz Wagner. Okay, a 6'7" guy that can actually, 6'8" guy that can actually move quicker. So we'll see how this works out. But I'm encouraged so far by, again, his size in terms of his strength ability, his growth. RJ, again, I've always thought he played with a high IQ. He just does rookie young player mistakes. Hopefully he cuts down on that this year, this is his 5th season. And then continues to thrive in the second unit behind Julius Randle at the 4. I think he's going to do very well there. To me, even though we lost Obi, I was concerned that the spirit of Mobb Deep would go away with Obi. But with the growth of RJ and then the development of the Grimes IQ dynamic, I think we're in good shape. Mobb Deep is still in effect. And then, of course, you still have Hartenstein. Now you got Hart and, of course, Dante DiVincenzo. So I think we're in good shape there. But with regard to RJ, yeah, I see the growth in the area of finishing. I'm still a little concerned with his defense against players that are smaller. But he's trying. He's giving it his all. He's got a high IQ. We need a big year from him. And I don't mean he has to average 24. I mean he has to be able to hold his own defensively and finish efficiently. He's been very inefficient in his first 4 seasons. Most guys following the stats would tell you that. But if we can get an improvement, he doesn't have to go from 0 to 60. If he can go into the middle of the pack and get up in the middle of the pack a little bit toward the top, top 15 in finishing, that will do a lot for the Knicks. Okay, so I'm very encouraged. With regard to Brunson, of course, he's looking like, he's basically toying with FIBA because, like I said, this ain't the league. Okay, so he's toying with FIBA. He's there. I just don't want him to get hurt. That's what bothers me about this in-season tournament. I mean, same 82 games, so I'm not as concerned. But the tournament's not winning you a chip. We're trying to win chips, right? So this is year 4. I just don't want nobody to get hurt in this tournament. I understand NBA's trying to make more money, no problem. But I hope all the guys be careful, especially RJ, especially Brunson. I'm not worried about Hart as much. He's not getting as much PT on FIBA. Maybe he will later. At this point, he hasn't been. That's fine with me because I don't want the cat to get hurt. We got business to take care of in New York. So y'all enjoy your Thursday, but I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing with our guys, but especially I'm looking at RJ here. Not only that, because he's so young, he really is getting his feet into the season now. I think it's going to bode well for him going forward. This is a good year for him to do that. When guys are not quite in their prime or going into their prime, sometimes these summer tournaments actually help them. Once they're used to, as RJ is, he's a workhorse during the course of the season, so he plays his 70, 80 games, but he's not going to be tired second half. He's used to the grind, and now you're getting him some experience in the summer, some competition, help him get better. So I'm encouraged by it. I think we're going in the right direction. I don't want to, hang it and say, oh, he's going to be all that this year. I hope he is. We're still trying to see. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday. Shalom.